We're Mekka and Reggie, camping newbies intrigued by the RV lifestyle. He's a concrete camper
who loves concrete pads, manicured lawns, and beautiful views.
And I'm the concrete glamper. I love campsite decor, and more is more. On the weekends, we've moved from the couch to camping. And as Southerners, we always tow our hospitality and charm as we chase the sun, sand, and sea
in our RV.
Well, greetings, concrete campers and glampers. The page in the calendar may have turned to 2025, but for us, there's still a few videos that we have to wrap up from last year.
That's right. So I think we're going to kick off with one of our reviews of a new resort. I think you guys remember, if you haven't seen some of the videos, I know previously we've talked about a new resort that is coming here to Georgia. Actually, it is Winding Rivers. Is that right?
Winding Waters RV Resort in Cartersville, Georgia, which is about 20 minutes north of Metro Atlanta area, one that we've been watching for quite some time, actually.
Yeah, we have been excited about this resort opening up. They marketed themselves. I know they had a few delays, pushback, but they opened up officially, was it middle of 2024 last year?
Yeah, kind of like midsummer or so.
So we finally got an opportunity to go check this place out. And so we're inviting you guys to come along. We'll give you guys kind of an overview, let you know our thoughts, what things didn't work, did work. We usually try and do now a 3 ups, 3 downs, and just kind of give you our overall opinion and let you guys decide what you think for yourselves.
And in this video, it may be slightly different than what we typically walk and talk around the property. In transparency, we had a few glitches, and so we had to come back and reshoot some of our thoughts. And so that's why this video may feel just a slight difference than typically how we do our reviews.
Yep.
So we kicked off our visit to the resort in November. And first impressions when we pulled in, their check-in area is really gorgeous, really fits into that North Georgia vibe, kind of cabin-ish, and the mountains that you see in the distance around that area. And I'll say check-in for itself was really par for the course. Nothing remarkable about the check-in process. Because of the time of year, there was no wait, there was no one in line. Everyone was really nice and gracious.
Yeah, so typically the way it works with me and Mekka is that I'll pull up, they usually have like a waiting area for your RVs, and then she'll hop out, go in the office and handle all the paperwork. One thing that I did notice about this resort is typically when you pull in, they usually have like a staging area, right? They'll where you pull up, you wait, and people will pull up behind you, things of that nature, and you just wait, right? This place actually, where you typically would pull in, it was almost opposite, meaning that when you pull in, instead of just pulling forward and waiting, you actually had to go around a curve to your left, pull into more of what I would have considered a parking lot for additional overflow cars and parking, and that's where they had you wait. And honestly, you probably couldn't get more than maybe 3 RVs in a row. And actually, when we pulled in, there was kind of a bus that pulled in behind us. So we pretty much took up the right side of that space. And then the other challenging thing about it was getting out of that space. So imagine you pull in, you got to make a left. So you pull around, now you're straight. And now you got to make another right turn with your rig to get access to move forward, to go through a gate to come into the parking lot. To the actual RV resort. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. They need to probably change that around.
And
it's very difficult, especially if you got a big rig.
They had an escort to your site, so that was really nice. Very nice gentleman in a golf cart who escorted us to our site. site? It was at
113.
113,
Yep.
which was a pull-through site. It was a premium site. We'll share more because they had a lot of categories of their sites, and the prices reflected that. But the site itself, pulled through, it was long enough, but it was narrow.
Yeah, because we were able to, of course, pull in. And what's cool about the site, they actually offer kind of offside parking for your vehicle. So if you imagine, just imagine with me, your normal pad, your normal concrete pad, and to the back of that pad where you enter through a pull through, to the right of that was an additional parking spot.
So our site had two kind of patio pads. So one was for parking. The second one was your typical one that's outside of your rig. And then that's where on this particular site, they had their table set up with chairs. And this is where I would say one of my first knits reared its ugly head because it was...
Why? It was beautiful. It was very fancy.
It was
upscale.
It was the first experience. I don't want this to come off the way that it comes off, but it was the first experience of PVC pipe furniture at a resort. And so I was taken aback by that. Aesthetically, to me, it was not that pleasing to have PVC pipe chairs and a table. But, you know, it's a resort, but given our experiences, again, if you followed our channel, you know some of the places that we've gone to and some of the places that we really, really love. So that one was just a little bit of a nit in terms of the stylishness of the PVC pipe.
Usually it's either wooden furniture, metal furniture, or even something made out of resin. Mm-hmm. It's not PVC pipe. I'll give you this. It was clean. Mm-hmm. It was new. Not very comfortable, but it was usable.
Yeah. I think the other thing at the site, the narrow, it was a little, not necessarily tricky, just we had to be very conscious of our slides because we have a driver's side slide in our bedroom and for our couches a bit wide. And so we had to be further to the right. And that caused us to have at least our rear door in the grass.
It just seemed like it was just a little bit more challenging than it needed to be. Put it that way.
Because we have had, actually it was one of our first trips where we banged our slide into a water spigot yep. When we were at the beach early on. So maybe we're overly sensitive to that, but I don't think it is. I think it's just, again, you've been RVing, you know your slides, you know your spacing, and just for us with having the double doors and larger slide outs, that's just something that we had to be conscious of. Say it has been a while since we've been in this RV is an understatement. It's kind of like we're starting over. A girl needs a lot of work, a lot of cleanup. But we will get her mojo back.
The actual resort has a total of 252 sites. Mm-hmm. There's a multitude of different types of sites that they have. They do have concrete pads. They have some gravel pads. But like we alluded to earlier, there's actually like 6 different styles that you can book. And I had to write these down, so I'll make sure I get them all right for you guys. But the first is a premium pull through. And what makes that premium is 100 feet long and 20 by 20 patio. It comes with the furniture that we alluded to earlier with an umbrella. Ooh. And also it has a fire pit. Next that they offer is a paw pin pull through. And what's cool about that for you animal lovers, that you travel with your puppies and you travel with your dogs, they actually have a playpen that is hooked on to your actual site, which was pretty cool. I've never seen that. And it was nice, brand new.
Thought that was a really nice touch. It was about 4 or 5 of them there, but it was fenced in, and it was grassed in, and it was specifically for that site. They did have a more communal dog area, but particularly for those paw pen sites, it was your personalized sites, and I thought that was a really nice touch.
The next one that they offer is a classic pull through, which I believe just is simply to pull through. It doesn't have any furniture or anything of that nature. And then they offer back ends. They have a Riverside back end, which is on gravel, and then they do a classic back end, which is on gravel as well.
And I would say for me, of all of the site, I think the ones that back up to the Etowah River might be kind of like the sleeper ones, that they were still doing some work, they were still clearing it out. And I think if you have the type of setup where you can either pull in or back in, I think over time those may become really premium sought after sites, because the river was really nice. And I think that's just a nice ambiance for that. I would say on the flip side, you did not have just regular access of like a pier or any place for you to walk up and engage with that river outside of that being in the background of your site. So just something to think about. It's definitely not somewhere where they have created a space for you to go fishing, as an example.
With that, when you get ready to go online, you'll also notice that they are definitely encouraged long-term rentals or month rentals, right?
Yeah, there is a lot of advertising for that online. Even when they had their soft launch, we had inquired earlier last year, and they at that time mentioned that they were not set up for day rentals or weekend rentals. They were only doing monthly or long-term rentals. And I think for us, that gave the resort a different vibe.
In fact, directly across from our site, it was a lot of RVs. They were set up for full time. On our side where we were, there wasn't a lot of weekend travelers.
People that came overnight, but it was a distinction of, you had RVers who were there for travel and more adventure, and then the other side more long term, and it had a hint of more residential versus everyone there was for, as they like to say on their website, a base camp for your adventure. It didn't seem like that section was a base camp for adventure. And I just wonder, when we go back, will we still see the same thing? Or is it a situation where just because of the time of year that we were there, it's the holiday season, people really aren't RVing because it was also extremely cold.
Yeah, it was.
And so that would be something that I would like to see moving forward, to see if it's still the same vibe or if that changes when the summer comes.
See, they actually have cabins that they've stood up. I think it was maybe like 5, 6.
And they also, as you mentioned, overlook the river. And so that was a nice opportunity for some folks. If you're RVing and you need some family that's joining you that don't have an RV, that will be somewhere definitely to think about. And then they also mentioned to us that this year, they plan to add a couple glamping tents. And so I'm very intrigued to see the inside of those glamping tents. And so I do plan to return to just visit and check those out as well.
Continue to kind of walk around the whole resort, and we did notice that there was a good amount of wildlife enjoying the ponds.
Yes.
Let's just say that.
Although very cute, initially, upon closer inspection, they were leaving gifts throughout this section of the resort.
Yeah, a lot of gifts in the road and on actual sites. The biggest amenity that they tote is the water park pool area.
Water park pool slide area. This is all up at the clubhouse area. And so a really neat water slide feature for those of you that have kids and maybe some kids at heart. They also had a pool area, and they also had a what do you call it?
Lazy river. Yep.
It was heated, but because of the time of year, it just was not enticing for us. But it was at least 3 different sections that you could go and enjoy the pool. You can enjoy the water. Surrounding that area, they had more of their lovely furniture. So there was ample space to sit. And additionally, there was also a hot tub. It was one of those larger hot tubs. I hadn't seen a hot tub that large since we were at an RV resort in Louisiana. Like, I would say very easily 10, 15 people, if not more, could sit in the hot tub given the shape of it.
Yeah.
And then the restrooms in that area were also really nice. And so it was a shower and restroom combo. And of the restrooms at that facility, that was the nicest. They did have one that was closer to our campground area where it was a personal size little cabin, I would call it, a little timber cabin. In the clubhouse itself, really nice space, a nice event meeting space. They had a fireplace there, ample amount of tables if you wanted to have an event or host something. There were no activities taking place while we were there,
right,
but you could tell that they did host activities throughout various weeks.
Yeah, because I think that the hostess even said that you could rent this out. It was nice. The furniture was nice. That was A+. Well done in there. Then we moved outside and went over to the pickleball
courts.
Yeah. So those that play pickleball, one day we'll see.
These old knees, we're gonna oil them up and take it a spin on the pickleball court.
But they do have a very nice pickleball court. They even have lighting for in the evening if you want to play night pickleball. It's there. Outside of that, they had some bocce, I guess,
area.
Court bocce area.
2 of those.
That was
pretty
all
much
the
it.
amenities that we really did see.
All right, so now it's time for our 3 ups and 3 downs of the resort. I'll start first. I would say one of my first ups is the location.
Okay.
I think being in the area that it was easy to get to, very accessible off of 75. I mean, it was a solid 5 minutes off of the highway, maybe 10, I guess, with some traffic, but it was not congested at all. At least arriving. Leaving, they don't tell you this, but you may think that you have to do a U-turn. You can't make a left coming out of it. They force you to the right, but all you do is just go up through kind of the city center of Cartersville and take a right, and then it puts you back on 75. So it was not any type of an issue getting to the facility itself. And there aren't a lot, at least some that I'm aware of, in terms of new resorts, concrete, north of Atlanta before you get to Tennessee. And so for that, I think the location is spot on. And then it's also very close to Lake Allatoona. And we've been, if you watched us before, you know that we've gone to Red Top Mountain. There's some campgrounds there, and then they have a lot of boating there, some gorgeous lake access points, and we'll link that video up top. But yeah, I think overall the location is really nice.
Yeah, and there's plenty of restaurants, shops, your typical, if you ran out of something or you don't want to cook at the campsite, there's plenty of that in Cartersville. You just go up the road and you'll hit every major retail that you can really kind of think of is
restaurants.
In restaurants, yeah. I guess another up that we did notice, as being dog owners, unfortunately, we just haven't made it to a point where we could take our boys with us.
They're going to make their debut soon.
But if we were, this would be probably a place that we would give a shot to because of the dog pens.
Paw pens.
Paw pens.
Yes.
All right, paw pens. My bad. dogs have paws, so it's a dog paw pen, whatever.
You know.
Okay, but anyway, paw pens. I think it's a great concept.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge, actually. It's pretty big, and I think it's a great opportunity to take your dogs, let them run around. Even if you walk away and they're training up to stay in the pen and enjoy themselves, it's a great idea.
And third, Wi-Fi. I would say it was of a lot of the places that we have visited, their Wi-Fi, we will give you kudos for that top-notch Wi-Fi.
It could have been also, we might have gotten lucky.
Because no one was there.
Right. So there wasn't a lot of wait and traffic on the Wi-Fi system. All in all, at least our experience, they get an A+ on the Wi-Fi.
Or the 3 downs. What would your first down be?
The month-to-month renters. You know, I'm not trying to put anyone down. People need a place to be and go. And hopefully when we retire, maybe we can set up shop somewhere to work and stay for month to month. But I just feel like it doesn't really give a lot of option and cater towards your weekenders, your travelers. And because they put so much emphasis on, when they even opened up, focused on, hey, we want month-to-month individuals. That's all we're offering right now for a good amount of time before they okay, now you can go ahead and make reservations for your weekend or for a week. I don't know. It personally, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I'm like, well, are you interested in us coming here or not? So that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I feel like it was more catered toward, hey, we want to be a full-time, month-to-month snowbird,
I don't even think it's snowbird, because we've gone to some parks where in Florida where it's snowbird, and even there, it was snowbird season. It was much more leisure. People are still very social. They're traveling. They're out and about. This was different in that, one glaring example is there was an RV in a very prominent location, and they had no less than 4 or 5 cars on the property. 2 of the cars were vintage cars with tarps over them. They had outdoor furniture, and it just felt different. We're not talking about, folks who are full-timing and you're setting up shop for a month or so. It just felt different in some of the sections where this is folks who were treating it living local, and this was more residential. I think that's just the best way to explain it. It felt more residential in some areas. And I think that spilled over into how they communicated with you a little bit in terms of some fees. There was a lot of nitpicking of fees, and some that we were very used to. And I think that would be our second down.
Yeah.
But it was the way that they communicated and over communicated to you about these fees. And so, especially in these resorts and newer resorts in the last 2 to 3 years, you're used to the fees. It's nothing new to you. You don't need to be overly communicated to this, like someone needed to sternly talk to you about these are the rules and these are the things that you needed to do. And so that being said, I think the golf cart, we had planned to rent a golf cart. Our day was just running long and they were hounding us about it. And then, when we did go to fill the paperwork out, it was very explicit that if you're late by a minute, they're going to charge you.
Literally.
Yeah, that was the language. When checking in, you're used to it in terms of block fees. That wasn't abnormal. But then if you read some other paperwork, if you had a golf cart of your personal one, they were going to charge you for that. If you wanted to come in early, they were going to charge you for that. And so, again, some of these might be normal, and maybe it's just us just paying attention more, but it just felt like it was just a lot of communication about, if you don't follow the rules, you're going to be charged, you're going to be charged, you're going to be charged. And it just, the vibe was different.
Yeah, it was
as a result of that, and combined with seeing more residential type setups. Right.
And I guess, the best way to put it is the vibe was off. Typically we walk around, we socialize, or you have conversations with folks. Again, it just kind of felt like we were renting in someone's neighborhood.
Oh, that's a really good.
Moving on from that, I think the final down, I think I'm gonna let you have that
I mean,
one.
it's the furniture. I just think in this day and age, if you're just talking about piers of some places that have opened up here in Georgia and Florida, it's just the PVC pipe furniture and resort just does not go together. And it just reads a little bit differently. And it threw me off a little bit. But again, different strokes for different folks. But if that's just one down, I think, and to me, it actually didn't go with their own decor.
No.
Because their clubhouse was gorgeous with the
nice
woods,
furniture.
nice furniture on the interior. And so to see the PVC pipe furniture around the pool area, to me, it just, those two things didn't match. It's nothing certainly that's going to prevent us from returning. But again, this is just our first impressions. Let us know. Let us know in the comments that is that a new trend that maybe we're just now realizing that more resorts out there are using this type of furniture. It was just new to us. So
yeah.
But overall, would you return again?
Yeah, I would give them another shot. I'd go back. Just again, probably based off the location for us. I would not make it a destination though.
Yeah. But they acknowledge that again on their website. They say a home base. And so in that of itself, they recognize perhaps that you're not coming to just stay on the resort. All right. Well, that's it. That's all our thoughts today on the Winding River RV Resort in Cartersville, Georgia. Let us know in your comments down below some of your thoughts on it. And we'll continue to say thank you to all of us who continue to support us. We will have some additional things to share coming up. But until next time, we'll continue to chase the sun, sand, and sea
in our RV.